Last week, I told you about the mystery herb from a 9th century monk's journal, the one he considered even more powerful than lemon balm, the one he prescribed specifically for the affliction of restless nights. I promised it wasn't valerian. It isn't. But before we get there, I need to tell you something about how monks actually slept, because it changes everything. For most of human history, from ancient Rome through the medieval period and into the early modern era, people did not sleep the way you sleep. They didn't go to bed, stay unconscious for 8 hours, and wake up. They slept in two separate phases. The first sleep began at dark, typically around 9 p.m. It lasted 4 hours. Then people woke up, not because they were disturbed, because their bodies told them to. They would lie quietly, pray, think, sometimes talk to a bed partner. Monks used this time for vigils, their midnight prayer. This waking period lasted 1 to 2 hours. Then the second sleep, another 4 hours, until dawn. Medieval medical texts describe this pattern as natural and healthy. Disrupting it, sleeping straight through, was considered unhealthy. Historian Roger Eckerk spent 16 years researching this. He found references to first sleep and second sleep in over 500 historical documents spanning 8 centuries and multiple cultures. This wasn't a quirk of one monastery or one country. This was how humans slept everywhere, for most of recorded history. And Professor Russell Foster, director of the Sleep and Circadian Neuroscience Institute at Oxford University, has confirmed through modern circadian research that human biology contains a natural alerting window in the middle of the night. The monks weren't fighting their biology. They were following it. The monks weren't just sleeping. They were sleeping correctly. Benedictine monasteries ran on a precise daily schedule called the Divine Office, 8 fixed prayer times, spread across the day and night. Understanding this schedule is key to understanding how monks slept. The day began at lauds around 5 a.m. at dawn. Monks then worked, studied, and prayed through terce at 9 a.m., sext at noon, and none at 3 p.m. Vespers came at 6 p.m., followed by compline at 7 p.m., the final prayer of the day, after which monks went directly to bed. Then came vigils. At midnight or 2 a.m., depending on the monastery, the bell rang. Every monk rose. They gathered in the chapel for 30 to 45 minutes of prayer and chanting, then returned to their cells for the second sleep until lauds at dawn. This schedule was not designed around sleep science. It was designed around prayer. But its effect on sleep was profound. Monks went to bed immediately after compline, no stimulation, no extended evening activity. Their sleep environment was cold, dark, and silent, the exact conditions that accelerate sleep onset. The midnight vigil's waking was consistent every night, training the body to expect that interruption, reducing its disruptive effect over time. Professor Foster's research at Oxford confirms why this consistency mattered so much. The circadian system, your biological clock, runs most efficiently when sleep and wake times are fixed. Every deviation from a consistent sleep schedule disrupts what Foster calls circadian alignment, the synchronization between your body clock and your actual behavior. Medieval monks had perfect circadian alignment, not by design, but by rule. And the herbs. Every monastery's evening ritual included a preparation taken after compline, a cup of herbal infusion specifically designed to ease the transition into first sleep and support return to second sleep after vigils. The two herbs used most consistently across monastery records throughout Europe: valerian root and passion flower. Sometimes together, sometimes alone, always in the evening. Let's look at each one. First, valerian root. Valeriana officinalis. Valerian has the longest documented sleep use history of any plant in Europe. References appear in ancient Greek texts, Roman medical writings, and continuously through the medieval period. The name valerian itself may derive from the Latin valere, to be strong, to be well. Medieval healers prescribed it specifically for what they called troubled sleep difficulty, falling asleep, frequent waking, and dreams that disturbed rather than restored. A 2006 meta-analysis of 16 randomized controlled trials found valerian improved sleep quality in the majority of participants, particularly time to fall asleep and frequency of night wakings. Effective dosage: 300 to 600 milligrams of standardized extract, 30 minutes before bed. Now, the herb I teased in video 2. Passion flower. Passiflora incarnata. Most people have never heard of it outside of herbal circles. But its sleep evidence is extraordinary and, in some measures, stronger than valerian's. Passion flower was used by indigenous populations in North America for centuries before European contact. When Spanish missionaries brought it back to Europe in the 16th century, European herbalists immediately recognized its sedative properties and began incorporating it into sleep preparations. By the 17th century, passion flower appeared in monastery records across France, Italy, and Germany, combined with valerian in evening preparations. The herbalists didn't know why they worked together. They just knew the combination outperformed either herb alone. In 2011, a randomized controlled trial published in Phytotherapy Research tested passion flower tea against placebo in adults with mild sleep problems. The result: participants taking passion flower slept an average of 40 minutes more per night than the placebo group. Not 5 minutes, not 10 minutes, 40 minutes. With a simple cup of tea made from a flower that grows wild across the Americas and now across Europe. Modern pharmacology now knows why passion flower and valerian outperform either alone. Passion flower contains a flavonoid called chrysin, which binds to the same GABA receptors as valerian, but through a different mechanism. When taken together, they produce what pharmacologists call a synergistic effect. 1 + 1 = 3. The monks were combining two herbs that worked on the same system through different pathways. They arrived at polypharmacy, the strategic combination of multiple active compounds, 400 years before modern pharmacology named the concept. Now let's connect the segmented sleep pattern to modern sleep science, because this is where the monastery system becomes genuinely remarkable. Modern sleep research has identified something called sleep pressure, the accumulation of adenosine in the brain during waking hours. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine builds, the stronger the drive to sleep. When monks went to bed immediately after Compline at 7 p.m., their sleep pressure was high. The transition into first sleep was rapid. Deep, slow-wave sleep, the most restorative phase, came quickly and lasted longer. The midnight vigil's waking interrupted sleep at a point when deep, slow-wave sleep had been largely completed. The body was naturally transitioning toward lighter REM sleep. The interruption was physiologically well-timed, not random. This is precisely what Professor Russell Foster and his team at the Oxford Sleep and Circadian Neuroscience Institute have described as the optimal relationship between circadian rhythm and sleep architecture. Foster's research shows that the human biological clock contains a natural period of reduced sleep drive in the middle of the night, roughly 1 to 2 a.m. for most people on a natural sleep schedule. The monk's vigil's waking happened to fall exactly within this window. Again, not by design, by prayer schedule. But the biology aligned perfectly. During the waking interval, monks engaged in quiet prayer and contemplation, low stimulation, no light beyond candles, no physical exertion. Their core body temperature remained low. Melatonin levels stayed elevated. Returning to second sleep took minutes, not hours. Compare this to modern insomnia patterns. People go to bed late, with high cortisol from evening screen use. They struggle to fall asleep. They wake in the night with racing thoughts. They cannot return to sleep because cortisol has spiked and melatonin has dropped. The monk system addressed every one of these failure points without knowing they were failure points. Early to bed maximized sleep pressure. No evening stimulation kept cortisol low. The structured midnight waking prevented the anxiety that comes from unexpected waking. The herbs supported GABA activity at both transitions. This wasn't luck. This was 1,000 years of iterative refinement. Every generation of monks adjusting the system based on observed outcomes. Slow science again. Very slow science. Now the practical part. How to actually implement this. You don't need to become a monk. You don't need to wake at midnight for prayer. But you can extract the core principles of the monastery sleep system and apply them tonight. Step 1. Set a consistent sleep time and protect it. The monks went to bed at the same time every night without exception. Consistency trains your circadian rhythm to begin melatonin release predictably. Even 1 hour of variation significantly disrupts this process. Step 2. Eliminate stimulation in the final 90 minutes before bed. No screens. No intense conversation. No eating. The monks had Compline, a gentle, calming ritual that signaled the body, day is ending. Create your own version. Step 3. The herbal preparation. 30 minutes before your sleep time, valerian root extract, 300 to 600 milligrams, or passion flower tea, 1 teaspoon dried herb, steeped 10 minutes. For strongest effect, combine both. Passion flower added 40 minutes of sleep in clinical trials. Valerian reduced time to fall asleep. Together, Both transitions covered. Step 4. If you wake in the night, do not panic. Do not check your phone. Lie quietly. Breathe slowly. The monks woke at midnight and felt no anxiety about it because they expected it. Expectation removes the panic response that turns a natural waking into true insomnia. Step 5. Rise at the same time every morning regardless of how you slept. Consistent wake time is the anchor that regulates everything else. 5 steps. No expensive devices. No complex tracking. 1,000 years old. And still the most coherent sleep system I've encountered. 3 videos in. 3 complete protocols. Before I tell you what's coming next, one thing I want you to know. The lemon balm we covered in video 2 and the sleep protocol in this video don't just complement each other. They work on the same system, the GABA pathway, through different mechanisms. If you're struggling with both anxiety and sleep, the combination of lemon balm and passion flower is, based on current research, significantly more effective than either alone. If you haven't watched video 2 yet, go back and watch it after this. The protocols build on each other in ways that matter. Next week, the gut. Medieval healers called it the second brain of the body. Modern gastroenterology calls it the gut-brain axis. Hildegard of Bingen described it in 1150. Neuroscience confirmed it in 1990. 840 years. If you've been watching since video 1, thank you. The comments are shaping what we research next. Keep them coming. Subscribe if you haven't. One remedy. 1 week. Every time. The knowledge was never lost. It was just waiting. I'll see you next week.